Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Detroit Shrimp and Aquatics. Sorry, just trying to get this tweaked up for you a little bit. Today, well, I should say hello to everyone first. Hope everyone's doing okay. I hope everyone's doing good with their tanks at home and they're not running into a bunch of problems. Because, hold on one second, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Due to the fact that now that people are home, they're doing more stuff with their tanks, and they're trying new stuff, and sometimes trying new stuff can, it could be upsetting, irritating, what have you. So I hope whatever anyone's doing at their home on their tanks, it's all positive and everyone's able to get the answers that they're looking for. So today, what I want to bring to you is, if you see, let me shrink this down some more. I like that. This is my Tangerine Tiger tank. If you notice, in my video, I was talking the other day about, when filters get dirty, they run slower, especially sponge filters. Well, this new air system I put in puts out tons and tons and tons of air, so lots and lots of pressure. When a filter slows up, it's a good chance that it's dirty. But there's also a chance that the filters come from, I'm not sure. I don't really want to put a name on it or see where they come from, so let's not do that. But they're mass produced. I could say that. I will say that. So the filters are mass produced. So they're not all the same. Somebody comes out with the idea is great, well then they start making it. You make a ton of them. After a while, and everyone knows that has worked with machinery or anything, your tolerances start to fall off and things don't work the way they did when you first set the machine up and got all your stuff together. So, in that aspect, with these filters, what I like about them is, of course you can clean them. They're really, really good. So if you see anybody, I have the black ones because I like the black. A lot of guys I know, and guys I don't know, but a lot of guys that I know, I'm not going to say names because I don't want to give one person business and someone else not. But a lot of guys I know sell the green ones. So the filter pads are black, and all the tubing, everything is green. Well, I don't like the green ones because I don't know. I'd rather have a black one with clear tubing, clean it. I think it looks good, but that's just my opinion. So, anyways, these filters, they're made cheaply. I mean, they work really good, really, really good. But today I'm going to show you how I go about what could I call it? Tuning, or kind of like if you have a race car and you do stuff to the engine to make it run faster, put on some new exhaust pipes, intake, you know, some race pistons, what have you. What? Luke come and steal my tweezers? Boy, that kid takes everything I own. And don't you guys start laughing, because I know everybody's laughing right now. And I'm sure Leah's one of them. Yeah, he come down here all the time and takes my stuff. Oh, nope, he didn't take them. It was under my list of orders I had to send out. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to turbo the filter. So I have it on here so you can see. I'll lift it up. Now look how slow. Here's another thing. That's a good one there. I have them turned down. That's a good one. But here's the thing. See the bubbles building? They snap. Pop, pop, pop. It's all the little bubbles. It's how these things are made. See, look at that one. Wow, look at that big, huge bubble. Well, what I do is, let me see if I can. The phone's on a tripod right now. So see, what I do is I make it bigger so the bigger bubbles come through, and it shoves the water around really good so you can see the movement. I still have bubbles popping. If I shove that head down, it won't be as bad, and it's nowhere near as bad. You know, I'm gonna get lids, but look how far them bubbles come out. It's because of all the baby bubbles that these filters produce. So to get rid of that, we're gonna take this apart, and a lot of times I'll tell you this. Let me see, and here, watch. I'll show you this. Watch how much air comes out. Look how that's how much air blows through just one. So that lets you know that filter is jacked up. For one, it could be clogged, and two, it's just jacked up. So I'll just set it over here in that tank. It'll just float because it has so much air pressure going through it doesn't want to. Now, a lot of times when I take these off, I'll leave the suction cups. And it's no big deal, but the suction cups, they won't have the curve to them anymore, you know, because they've been on the tank so long. So I like to take them off and kind of let them relax. You know, let the suction cups go back to having that initial curve to them. And I do notice, you know, because some people, you know, they'll say anything gets you to buy their stuff. They're like, the green filters have better suction cups. Well, guess what? I've been running these suckers for, you know, year and a half, and the edges are starting to get a little cracky, you know, but I can order a bazillion of these and get them anywhere, really. Oops, sorry, I kicked that. All right, so what we're going to do is, you don't need to see this. I'm just taking it over to, I have a little bucket here. And this is where I take everything apart. All right. Now, let me pull this back some so I can put this in front of the camera. All right. So here's the top. I took out the 90 elbow. So what I do is I take this top off. This whole thing comes apart. That's what I love about these. So here's your top, holds the little tube. There's nothing in this. So I get rid of that. I pull the little tube, but I keep the little tube close. And then I pull the big tube. But here's the thing. I don't know if I'm going to have to get my flashlight. Hold on, I'll get it. So you guys can see in here. What happens is, hopefully you guys can see in here. I can't really look at my phone and this at the same time. So the air comes in the side. There's a hole right there, which it comes down that tube, that little baby tube, blows in the side. Well, then it has these perforations all the way around. Those perforations don't do a thing except turn when the oxygen blows in. When the air blows in there, it runs around those perforations and it causes all those little bubbles. So that's like on this pipe. Down at this end more, there's an indentation around this pipe. It's like a ring going around it where when the air comes down, it flows around, creates all those bubbles, and it comes out, right? Well, the bubbles are great. There's really, I mean, I'm not complaining about how they made it. See, it's got great air coming through it, so. But I'm not complaining how they made it with the bubbles, but, some of them will go to where they don't make the big, huge splatter bubbles, but, so I just stick it in there in that hole I showed you with some tweezers, and make sure that's cleaned out. And then that's all I do with that. Then I take the tube, and so the ring is on here, but I mean, you can eyeball it where it's at. But what I do is I take my trusty drill. Yeah, I'm a carpenter, so all my tools are DeWalt. I'm not sponsored by DeWalt. Wish I was. They're a bit expensive. So what I do is where the ring is, I want to put a hole. Because when that air blows down that tube, instead of it running all the way around that ring, it'll go right into the hole. And I'll get yeah, I know everybody's like, don't drill your hand. But I go slow. I'll probably get, 70, 80% more larger air bubbles. See, that's it. That's all it takes. Like 80% larger air bubbles coming up the tube now instead of all that fuzz or all those baby bubbles. Baby bubbles. Did he say baby bubbles? Can you say that 3 times fast? Baby bubble, baby bubble, baby bubble. That's a tongue twister. All right. All right, so there's 2 holes. 2's cool. There's nothing wrong with 3 though. Because look, when I do this, I don't want to do it again. Now here's another positive thing. You get all this air going in here, and you can now turn it down. You see how much air was just blowing through that tube, and just think, it's blowing that hard due to the fact, blow out all your little fuzzies. There you go. That's it. So it's blowing that hard, and you don't get much oxygen out due to the fact of how these are produced, how these are made. So, wait right here. Hold on 2 seconds. I don't want anybody going, oh my gosh, did he put that filter back in that tank dirty? Nope. I got my brush. I'm going to clean the tubes. Just run it in and out a couple times. See, and the thing is if you do maintenance on your filters, you can get it down to, do a filter a week or something. It's not a big deal. Some people don't have all the time in the world. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to say that you're not busy. It's hard to. It is sometimes. But right now, ain't nothing hot. Clean your filters. All right. So I don't do anything to the black piece. You'll see in a second. On another thing, while I have the pads out, they're probably real dirty. Well, we'll find out right here on the squeeze line. Because that's Tangerine Tiger tank, and they love to eat. But I'll show you this water here in a second. This is just pure RO water. I don't use tank water. The tanks are full of beneficial bacteria. So I try not to, I want these as clean as possible. Believe me, I cannot squeeze all the bacteria out of a sponge. I don't care who you are. You know how you can get all this the bacteria out of a sponge, burn it. Yeah, burn it. Throw it in a fire. That's how you get all the bacteria out of a sponge. Other than that, you're not going to, in my opinion, but I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. All right, so, all right, sponge is put back on. This put back on. All right. Little tube. I can't really clean that. I don't have the toothbrush. Okay, so here's the pieces and parts. All right. That's our cap. Okay, so now here's the bottom. Okay, we want to line the holes up with the side where the pipe goes in with this little thingy here, because the hole's right there. So we just keep it in line. You push it real hard until it pops. Then you take the straw and you cram that sucker in there. Push it down with your thumb. Wiggle it around. Wow, all right. Then you take this piece, which is the top, which locks it together, and you put it on. Slide it down. They only go so far. Then put your directional tube back in, your lift tube. See, that's another thing I like, but I mean, here's another cool thing. If you guys wanted these shorter, didn't want this tube up so high, or, wanted your tube way low, I mean, you could cut these tubes. You can cut everything and alter this thing to fit the way you want it in your tanks, But line your suction cups up on the back. Then here's the sponges. I squeezed them out. I like my sponges to lean forward a little bit. So when I put this in here and it goes on the back, it leans forward and it's not touching the glass, So, alrighty. Now let's give this a run. So let's bring the hose over here. Plug her back in. And let's see if this bad boy works good or not. Okay. Now you see, I didn't touch nothing. I didn't adjust nothing. I didn't do a thing. But we did give it more area to let air in. So here, before I lift you up, see the water coming down. So that lets you know that it's blowing pretty good, because it's going straight down in the tank, when before it wouldn't even move the top. So that's what I want to show you. Excuse me. That's what I want to show you is doing the adjustments like this made it to where I fed them powder, bacteria powder, so it blew up on the front glass. I just wanted to show you that the movement of the water is 10 times better now. When I show you how much is coming out now, this is this is the game changer, because I can't be the only one that has this problem, and I'm sure I can't be the only one that knows how to do this, but I just started doing it one day. Figuring it's kind of like a regular sponge filter. Guys soup those up. So I wanted to bring you this video, a DIY video on how to soup up your dual sponge. Now, that's another thing. The more air that you can get to go through these things, the more amounts of water that they clean. The smaller amount if there's not much air going through, due to the fact that they're clogged or something small is in there, because you seen there's no room for error in there. The littlest thing could get in there and, jam it up, dust from your air system. If you take I doubt that if you take a sponge off, that something could get clogged in there, because it's pretty sealed up. It would just blow it out through the up tube. So more or less, it'd have to come. It's algae buildup, and it's like dust coming through your air system. You know, just stuff like that. But if you open up the holes, then even if that little dust gets in there, it should blow through and not affect it so much due to the fact that you just did the alteration to it. I almost said altercation. But see, the one below us now is very slow. So, yeah, that's the thing is when you start to speed. Oh yeah, that's the one. Actually, I was gonna do, but it's on the floor. Who knows? Maybe we could do that one too. I just don't need this video going too far and then shutting off on me. It's already at 20 minutes. Maybe we can get an hour video out of this. But all right, so I'll lift you up. So look at the pressure that comes out now. It's killing it. I mean, this one next to it we didn't do. That one over there's pretty darn good. But this one here is killing it. It's like it's brand new. You know, the one over there is doing good, but this one was horrible. So we put those holes in there, and now it's just the air's just banging through really good. And this tank will be even 10 times clearer, you know, after a while. You know, after that filter runs for a while. But what I like to do, see if I can do this without bouncing you guys around too much, is I like to get this down. See how hard those suction cups are now that I took them out too? They get their form back some and just stick to glass better. But I like to get it down there. The bubbles are small, but what happens is see if you could see the water flow now. See how it looks like somebody keeps throwing pebbles in way down at the end and the water's rippling all the way to the front of the glass? Well, that lets me know that the flow's coming all the way to the front. So the front of the glass, or the front of the tank, all the way down, it hits the glass and it rolls down. So the front of the tank, at the bottom, the shrimp are getting, we'll drop you down, son. The shrimpies down here are getting flow. You know? Yeah, I have names on all the tanks in case somebody calls and I'm not here. And I tell my wife to get some shrimp for somebody, and she says, "What? Which ones?" So this way, we're never confused about what goes where and what's what. So yeah, now, hold on, let me scoot over to my. So now the flow comes all the way to the front of the tank, so I don't have a dead spot. So it comes across the top, hits the front of the glass, rolls down the front of the glass, and it just keeps circulating in that motion, that round motion like that. I don't think I'm going to be able to show you the one down here because this thing's just way too hot. Yeah, it's too tall. Oh, wait. Let me see if I can spread the legs out more and drop this down more. This, I was given this tripod. I'm not going to call it junk because, oh, wait a minute. I know what I can do. Because it was free. So, nothing's junk when it's free, right? It's just, I wish I had a better one. That's all I can say. That's all I will say. So, very thankful for things that people give me. God blesses me a lot, so. All right. So, hey, all I did was let the legs go in. Shane, jerky. All right. Now we can do this. I can do this one if you guys want to sit here and watch me do it. Now look, that one's. Now this is my wild Catagallon tank. So I'll just. Whoa, wait. Oh, see. I can't wait till I put a floor down here and these chairs won't roll away from me. But I'm gonna do this one fast, so you guys don't sit here for 20 minutes. I'll just do it like I'm not even making a video. All right. Okay. Air. Of course, how much air we got? Tons of air. And this filter won't even run. So. Okay. Make sure there's no shrimplets on here. Mess with the. Just lightly do the filters. And I squeeze a little water out. Now they'll go in the bucket. All right. Take the tube off, It's not a, that's what I'm saying. It's not a big ordeal to soup these suckers up. I mean, it really takes very little of your time. Plus, once you do one, there's really not a fear of, there shouldn't be a fear at all of messing up because there's just nothing. Only thing you got to do is if you're worried about where you put the hole, just make sure. Here, I'll point with the little straw. Here's where the straw goes in, right? Like this. Well, the hole comes out down here. So just make sure when you drill the holes that they're around this area. Don't drill your whole way up here because, you know, it's not going to do anything. You're going to lose air there. So when you pull this sucker out, you can kind of see that's how far it goes down. So there's your hookup right there. That's how deep it goes. And if you hold it next to the tube, where the tube goes in, the inlet, figure, you know, go halfway, put one in the middle, and then one down towards the bottom. So I'll show you. And it doesn't matter where you put the hole because you just have to turn it to where the air tube goes in. Yeah, I mean, nothing has to be perfect. That's the thing about this. These are mass produced, so they're not even mass produced perfect. You know, that's why, you know, you have to, you know, do things to your equipment every once in a while to, you know, soup it up because they, you know, they just, you know, run them as fast as they can to sell them. All right, so there's your 3 holes if you could see them. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. So let me clean this pipe real quick with my trusty brush. Okay, clean. Okay, and one thing I always do is clean out the black plastic piece where the tubes go in because those little pieces that are the little slots that are around there that make the bubbles fizzy get algae on them or you know, yeah, algae buildup. So we're gonna line 2 of those up, leave the other one, third one there just as a backup. Put the tube back in it, push it in really good. Put the top back on it. Boop 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 boop. Get a little fuzzy on my hand. Alright, line your suction cups up. Line them cups. Oh, okay. And here's our tube turn around. So this would be forward. Put our adjustment pipe on the top. Now let's squeeze out now this tank, yeah, it's got a lot of shrimp in it, but I mean, I don't like overfeed or anything, just they get dirty and clogged up, and like I said, it doesn't take much. Some of these, oh my gosh, you can clog them in 2 seconds. So simple. Some, it's almost impossible to clog. You know, they run forever. Alright, that first one didn't feel dirty. The second one, oh, she's heavy and hard to squeeze. Oh, yeah, everything's running slow because I have that tube out of the water. Your air system will lose a lot, so don't go, oh my gosh, it's not running good. Oh, it's running good. It's just, I have a tube that's just blowing into the wind, so it's not under pressure, so all my tanks, yeah, see this filter, boy. Whew. All right. That one's good. So see, the first tank, I cleaned the filter out in pure RO. The second tank, I'm cleaning the filters out in dirty water. So either way, to me, it don't matter. I've never had an issue. Okay, so you guys seen how that thing was rolling before? Holy crap, look at this thing. All right, screaming at it. Get that hose on real good. Look at that. Just, you hear it gurgling. Just wants to start throwing water and cleaning this tank. Now I just turned a $4 filter into a $40 filter because it's going to clean so much. Alright, I gotta get my head around here. Sorry guys, I don't fit in these little tight spaces very well. There you go, yo. Can you guys see that? Kicking that water out like that? Holy heck. Alright, let's check the bubbles. Right, maybe I gotta clean this tank too. It's the bubbles blowing around. Try to tweak this stuff in little by little, get the best settings for everything. You know, I'm not very used to. Okay, now it's banging out real hard like that, so that lets me know that I can turn it down some. Because you can hear those big air bubbles chugging out. So look, you turn it down some, and that's it. Quiet as can be. Yeah, I still got air bubbles, but as you see, I really can't control that anywhere. But let me see what happens. See, now, this tank, I got to add more water to it because I'm pretty much down sitting. There's a big pile of stones down here, you know, they're where the mamas go and lay the eggs and stuff. But look, you see the man, I can't remember the name of this crap I hate. This stuff's blowing around, so little snails. But you know, with the tank not blowing out a lot, the top sits dormant, and you know, it just doesn't you know, break that top to where you know, you get the oxygen really good and everything. You know, even though, you know, shrimp don't need a ton of it, but you know, your animals gotta have oxygen. I don't care. Now look, I've tried it before, what some guys on YouTube say you don't, you know, they don't need, and I probably had over 100 shrimp in a 5-gallon tank for a year. Had no oxygen, no nothing. I just do a weekly water change of like 5%. That was it. And they live for a year or more. So, but yeah, look, you can see that. Oh, duckweed. You can see this stuff just flowing. So look, like I said, I just turned a $4 filter into like a $40 filter. But that's why I put I'm going to buy this stuff, but I don't have the money. This is dirty. I got to clean it. But that's why I put these plastic pieces over this. So when you get the splatter stays in the tank. And what I do is I try to gauge where the bubbles are going to come. So if it's spitting out big bubbles, like it's spitting out big bubbles, look. So it splatters. So my cover's right there. And the tank next to it's not splattering because it's you know, you're not getting a ton of water out of it. So fact of the matter is you can clean the sponges, or you can, you know, jack it up. So, I mean, it just starts blowing the whole top of the tank around. Now, like I said, that filter's hard to get down back there because there's a pile of rocks. So I'm going to have to move some of it. But I'm very, very happy with that because now it's got a lot of, the filter kind of has, you know, some attitude now. So instead of it just coming out all soft like, now it's got attitude. So let's, this one here's slow. So let's see what happens if we just change the filters. I'll show you that too. So slide this bad boy up. Ooh, I got a bit of algae on it, which is fine. Roll it around, make sure there's no little shrimpies on it. Squeeze a little water out so I don't dump it on the floor. Doesn't feel horrible. And another thing, if I don't cover the tube up, it's okay because the little shrimp will just go down and come out the tube. So it's not like they can die if they get in the filter. So they'll just have a little fun playing around in there. So I don't know. I don't think it's going to make a big, huge deal. And plus, I don't know if I have a turn. But see, the water, it just went up. the pressure just went up, but it's coming out more. But I wonder if I turn that valve if I get a little more. Because like I said, I've been, ever since I put this air, this one doesn't feel that dirty. But it had to be dirty enough because the water pressure went up. So, you know, I do the H2O2 on my tanks a lot. Oh gosh, look at all that. I didn't even see that. Oh, it is on this filter. See, and that lets me know too when stuff like this, it must have been upside down or I just didn't see it. Because a lot of these tanks are dark because of the wood and stuff that's in it. So, I don't see it. But because of, you know, all the stuff from the leaves and some of these tanks, man, the wood in it's so bad I can't get it to stop letting out the tannins. So it's like keep the tannins or get rid of the wood. And I really don't want to get rid of the wood just because I don't like it. But all right, let's turn this up. There we go. So that's coming out better. So just from a little cleaning, turn it up some, clean your filter pads, and it turns it up. But it still doesn't come out as fast as that. And as I said, with the bubbles, they both make bubbles. If you see, one makes more bubbles than the other. One makes small bubbles, one makes tall bubbles. Or I mean, that was dumb. Small bubbles and one makes big bubbles. But if you see this one here, it's coming out. You see it was coming out good, but it doesn't push the water around as violently as this does over here. And, you know, so, and you could turn it down. You know, I mean, you got a lot of power coming through there now. So you turn that sucker down some. And, I felt some air. It's because my fingers are wet. Yeah, my fingers are wet. So, look, you turn it down, comes out real nice, and it's still blown out as good as that, but this one still has, and that one's turned all the way up. And this one I turned down probably 3 or 4 turns. And it's still ricocheting the top of the water. So it's up to you, whatever you want to do, but that's just a DIY to show you how to you know, turn it up. Go from a 4-cylinder to a V8. So go from your little Volkswagen Rabbit to a 5.0 Mustang in a matter of minutes. But all right, everybody, I just wanted to get this get a video out to you guys. Oh, look at how yucky the water is. Oh. So it's always good to clean your filters. People say, "Oh, I go this long without doing it. I go this long without doing it." I don't know. I probably go when they start getting clogged up. I would say, gosh, I just cleaned these recently. 3 weeks, you know, 2-3 weeks. It depends on how much you feed, how many shrimp you have in your tanks. You know, there's a lot of parts